Good afternoon, everyone. Surprise, no intro, nothing. Yeah, soundboard changed it on us. It's brutal. Anyway, welcome to Beyond the Outer Realm, our afternoon uncensored show. My special guest this evening is fellow host here on the UPR network, Carolann Iadarola from Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. If you haven't checked her out, Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, make sure you do because you'll find yours truly on there somewhere. But great guests, and she's a lot of fun, as you're going to see this afternoon. So, as always, we're broadcasting live in the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM from beautiful New Orleans. And I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a little bit different. Well, I say a little bit different. I think last week's show kind of took off in a direction that people were just like, yeah, we'd like a little bit more of that. So we are definitely going to give you, I think, a lot more of that. So remember, you guys know the drill. You know exactly where to go find the video archive. If you've missed the show, it will be, of course, on all of the network's archives, but it's not going to be on the regular spots, as you know. And they get a bit finicky on a certain platform as to redirecting people to other platforms. So I'm not going to do that. You guys know, you'll find the link. I'll make sure it's there and you can come and check it out if you happen to miss it. So without further ado, my friend Carolann. Hello.
Hey.
How are you? Oh, hello, Dolly. I swear I want to break out in song every freaking time. It's just like, so anyway, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, pleasure. I figured we would have a lot of fun with this. And Dolly, little happy faces. There's so much as we've been looking, like we discussed a little bit about where we wanted to go with everything. And man, it was a bit crazy. Where I mean, some of the things that you made mention, I thought, you know what? Stuff we've talked about, stuff that people are talking about right now as well. And it is definitely not for some platforms, but
Right.
where would you like to start? I'm going to put this right up there for you since you are the guest. Oh, hello, Heidi. Hello. I'm in on the wrong chat. Wow. Can't be doing that. Thank you. We'll wait. More people be chiming in. So I could see you all, guys, on X and Rumble. I will see your comments. So please don't hesitate to ask questions or give us your 2 cents worth. Okay. Now, where do you want to start? There's lots.
Okay. Yeah. We have 10 topics that we thought would be fabulous to talk about regarding conspiracy theories. And if we get to them all, great. If we don't, I'm sure we can cover them at some other point, right, Michelle?
Oh, I've loaded for bear. There's some that's definitely getting covered. So you know us, though. We tend to just go. So
yes.
All right.
So the first one, I think that I found pretty interesting. And I love conspiracy theories because they always turn out to be 90% the truth. Like give them a few months and they turn out to have a huge modicum of truth in there. But Mark Zuckerberg, okay?
Yeah.
Need I say more? He is a board member of a project called Breakthrough Starshot Initiatives. Now, I just found out about this. I think this has been around for a few years.
Well, I think so. Stephen Hawking was on that board for a while before he passed. Okay.
Exactly. Stephen Hawking. Yep. And I'm just going to go through some of the initiatives that they have. So the first one's called Breakthrough Listen. And that one searches for radio and laser signals from other worlds. It uses powerful telescopes around the world. It surveys millions of stars, the galactic plane, and nearby galaxies. And it collaborates with NASA and their exoplanet survey satellite system, which is called TESS.
Mm.
So their aim is to send swarms of tiny spacecraft to Alpha Centauri. That's the nearest star system.
Mm-hmm.
And the spacecraft would be powered by a laser from Earth and travel at about 20% of the speed of light. The goal is to capture images of planets and other scientific data.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the other initiatives that they're working on is called Breakthrough Message, which aims to create a message representing humanity and Earth, and Breakthrough Watch, which aims to identify Earth-sized planets around Alpha Centauri and other stars. So, conspiracy or truth? Now, the truth is this program really does exist. It's
Yes.
totally legit.
Yes.
The conspiracy, and I found this to be pretty interesting, and I'm still in the process of investigating it.
Mm-hmm.
I know a filmmaker that I recently interviewed, and he got information that they already discovered intelligent life in Alpha Centauri. They got signals showing that there is intelligent life. And the only reason they're not releasing it because Mark Zuckerberg and I guess the other board members are afraid of the ramifications to Earth and what that would do to society. So he said he got it from a very good source that they indeed already did get signs of intelligent life.
So, I mean, I believe that many of these, organizations out there have, beyond even this program, know exactly what is out there. I think we have to take everything with a grain of salt, and I think we have to, use logic. Have they found something? Well, maybe they found something. But I don't know. I think that it's such a tough one because unfortunately we are, as Dolly says here, in an age of false flags. So,
Yes.
are we? Is this another false flag?
Right.
There's some truth in everything they don't want us to know, 100%. So, I'm skipping live class to watch. Oh, Heidi. So, but yeah, she says it's meant to scare the heck out of you. But should it scare the heck out of us? How do we know if they don't disclose it? I mean, there's so much going on right now. Um, and unfortunately, even a lot of people respected Stephen Hawking, and there were some who really thought he was kind of out there as well. And things are surfacing now that may take some of that respect away. But at the end of the day, I think it started out to be a pretty respectable organization. Sometimes that could be tainted by those at the helm, shall we say, which is a whole other show. But why not disclose? I mean, we're ready for it. We're seeing it all over the place. We're in the age of whistleblowers. We are in the age of discovery. You have people like, Dr. Stephen Greer, who are just out there saying, look, this stuff exists. There's all kinds of people saying, Bob Lazar, this stuff exists. So my question, I guess, to you and what your thoughts are is why are they, I mean, I guess if you're paying for it, you reserve the right to do what you want with it. But if it's meant to come out to the public, and that's what this organization does and these studies do, why do they get to just pick and choose? Why not just put it out there?
Yeah, I mean, I had this conversation with a ufologist once, and he tends to think that society would go bonkers. While there are a lot of folks that would handle it better, he tends to think that society would start burning down cities and it would be total mayhem. So he thinks that's one reason. The other is that the government would be getting caught up in decades of lies, and they would have to be accountable for their decades of lies that we've been told. And the other is that while they're doing all this reverse engineering, and of course it's top secret, they don't want us to find out about. So that plays into it too. And I'm sure the government has their own agenda. And so did these filmmakers, Michelle. Like, this filmmaker said that he got this information from insiders at this project, and that they tipped him off to concrete evidence. Now, it was supposed to be revealed after the election that the US just had. And the evidence might be linked to alien signals that were intercepted by the Parkes telescope in Australia. And you have researchers at an Oxford-based Breakthrough Listen Initiative headquarters there that said that they found the evidence of non-human technology signatures actually a few years ago. And they're just very concerned. Now, who knows if these filmmakers are using it for their own agenda? You know, maybe they want to make a documentary or something, and they're kind of putting stuff out there to see if it sticks. But I don't know. I tend to believe it.
I think so too. I mean, I think getting signals, definitely. I mean, they've been doing that. They had, signals going on a while back, and they had these unusual crop circles, and they put something out there to, to get something coming back. And they did. It took a while, but they got apparently some kind of a response. I'm just going to be that guy, but to me, anything that Zuck is involved in, I question. Because I tend to question that. But I don't know. I think, going back to the part about humanity would go bonkers, I believe that once upon a time, I think you're right on that, and so is your ufologist friend. But I'd like to think now that there's so much information. Is it information overload? We know what we know. I mean, we could slide right into Bluebeam with stuff about this. We'll carry that on a little bit, because I think there's so much out there. You just don't know what to believe.
Yeah, it's sad. It's a sad state of affairs. If you look at the drone thing, not too many people freaked out. I mean, we did have some people that freaked out a little bit, but I think society handled that pretty well overall.
Yeah. Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. But I also think, after everything that we went through over the last few years, I think over information that is starting to surface on many different levels, not just what we all went through as a global, a global community. But I think we're pretty much ready for anything at this point. And I don't know. I mean, experiencers, we all know. And I think there are people out there. I mean, everybody's got one of these, right? And I think people, you can't just say to them anymore, "Oh no, this isn't a thing." Well, I don't know, but we also live in the age of AI. Okay, yeah. So, Dolly, ask yourself, what is the closest known signal? Okay, intelligent, that can reach us if 4 light years equals 24 trillion miles. Yeah. I mean, that's right. I mean, I don't think that if we've got stuff or information that is capable, they're definitely not making it known to us, and we won't have all those answers without a doubt. Heidi says, more curiosity, less fear with the drones.
Right. True.
I think so. Ask yourself, yeah, okay, we saw that one, yeah. And calculate the signal in microwaves. Yeah. So I don't know. Let's talk AI and Bluebeam. Let's just meld those two together. Bluebeam is, I mean, I think they've been using that technology for quite some time. Just go to Vegas. I mean, I've been to different parts of the world where they have these incredible laser shows, and that was before AI, that were like, oh my God, look at what I'm witnessing in the sky, these wonders. Now they seem to really have it down pat. So what are we seeing? And how about and how about how many of them are ours?
Yeah. I mean, I think the goal of that was supposed to discredit all religions. I mean, we already see that they're trying to do that now, discrediting religion, taking religion out of everything, schools, everywhere. So there's that factor. I guess also, do we have, and I believe we do, telepathic communication with these ETs? I mean, I think Dolly could pretty much attest to that fact.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right? 100%.
100%. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes. I mean, we have telepathic abilities with ourselves, I mean, dealing with beings, or a race of individuals who are coming here, they're miles ahead of us. Like,
gosh.
oh,
And now
is
you
that
got psionics everywhere and remote viewing. What's his name? The guy that was just the big whistleblower. Oh my goodness.
Stephen Greer, Bob Lazar,
Jake.
That's a new one. I can't remember his name. I don't know why. I can never remember his name. Sorry, Jake.
It'll come to me. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
It was amazing because he was the one that had the video of the egg. Did you see that?
Yes. Yeah.
Jake, it'll come to me. I'm terrible with names. But yeah, so now, oh, I'm just reading Dolly's comments while I'm talking.
Yeah. I'm just putting them up. Yeah.
Yeah. Even Lazar admitted that. Yeah, absolutely. And I think obviously they don't want us to know. I mean, it's even in the Bible. Jesus said we're so much more capable than we know, so much more than this, that we are. So I think that they're intentionally looking to suppress that with our pineal gland as well, calcifying it, fluoride in the water, that whole thing. I mean, it all ties together.
Yeah. Dumbing us up is something that's been going on since early childhood vaccines. You think about it, they put aluminum in it. Aluminum eventually could cause a big cause of cancer, Alzheimer's. You see it in your cookware. You see it aluminum in the food, tin cans, like the old tin can lead, or there's a lot to it. I mean, that they have continued on with, and I think it's always been about keeping us all subdued. I think now it's being done with frequencies. And I mean, as we go on in the show, I'll show patents for this stuff. So people who are thinking, oh, this isn't a thing. Oh, this is very much a thing. There's patents for everything, whether it's a virus, whether it's like a frequency, whether it's a device, it doesn't matter. Everything is patented.
Right? Oh yeah, it's out there.
It's business. Yeah.
And I think also that staging these types of global, with Project Bluebeam, like supernatural events, to fake an alien invasion, I think that its intention in part would be to create mass panic and force people to accept this one world government for our protection, because of course they want to protect us. And that would probably be part of it. I wondered how they would pull that off, if it would be a global initiative or would it be limited to certain countries, because it's got to be done by satellite. If they're going to project something in the skies, you would think it would have to be done by satellite, right?
I would imagine that, that they have the technology to do that. They've been doing it for a long time. I think now you see it everywhere. But I think it would go into like the major cities, the major cities globally. I mean, there's people are kind of, some people are on the fence when it comes to this whole one world government. I think if it was done properly, I mean, we are the human race of the planet Earth, somewhere along the line, it would make sense. I mean, you have these race of people or beings that come from wherever they come from, dimensionally, different parts of our universe, other universes, galaxies, whatever the case may be. It would be much easier to communicate with one representative or a couple of representatives of any planet or anywhere they go, as it is to try to bend to rules and regulations of so many different countries.
Mhm.
That, so I get that part of it. Unfortunately, we're just, I think, we're all caught up in this power struggle as to who's going to be at the finish line, and how bad is it going to be? I mean, if you were looking at this freedom where everybody wins, I think you'd have a lot more people on board. But when you're dealing with the fact that you could be looking at a lot of suppression and pretty much very limited lifestyle, people are going to fight that as long as they can.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the jab, that was a global initiative. I mean, that was
Yep.
definitely. I think that essentially that's what they're heading towards, and they've been for decades heading towards creating this. And I think countries,
Patents.
yeah,
Look at the patents. Look at the years.
right,
Every time there's an upgrade, there's a new patent.
absolutely, yeah, yeah,
So all that stuff is all patented. And it's not like, we're just saying it. I mean, you guys could find it anywhere. That's the thing, is nothing is really being hidden anymore. Everything's sort of like right out there. But what I do find is there's a lot of distractions going on. So whenever you see something really crazy going on out there, you need to look behind the scenes at
yes,
what it is that they don't want to talk about, or that they have to talk about, but they just want less attention on it. Yes, 100%. Global reduction of population is the agenda. 100%.
absolutely.
100%.
It makes you ask, like, why do people believe that? Because a lot of people think it's just pure woo-woo and ridiculous. But there's a lot of people, millions and billions of us, that distrust our own governments and NASA. There's huge distrust with NASA, right?
Yeah.
We have a fear of the New World Order. There's many of us that do, especially WEF, pushing their agenda.
Unelected officials who, a group of good old boys who, feel like you just have to look at, mastermind behind the WHO. Who elected him? He's not a doctor. He's not anything except for a guy with money who has an agenda, and they all kind of work together in this club, and that's the end of it, and everybody else is collateral damage. But some of this stuff has been going on for years. I mean, sometimes you think you're getting the flu and it's like radiation poisoning, because look at towers and lines everywhere. You start looking up some of those symptoms, and you'd be surprised just how similar they actually are. And you look at when the first flu became, the flu. Well, you have to look at when certain technology also got put into place, and start connecting the dots. I think some of us are just so, it's that brainwashing narrative where they're constantly, I mean, you look at during the pandemic. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I know, I mean, I have American television. I pretty much know about you guys, but all over the world, and especially here in Canada, every single day, the leaders would get up there, blah, 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 terrify, terrify, terrify. Here's the numbers for today. Here's the numbers for today. Here's the numbers for today. After a while, you just start to take that in, and it's a fear tactic. And then you had others who were just like, no, we're just not going for that. Show us. We had a friend call and say, oh my God, they've got this hospital shut down, blah, blah, blah. They can't get people in. And oddly enough, it was just around the corner. And when we drove by, the place was just empty, status quo, business as usual.
Yeah.
And being in this line of work where, you are hosting, shows, it's amazing how many people. I had more people come to me, in the medical field, military, Navy, just people from all over the world in different positions coming up with little tidbits of information. And I'd be just like, wow, okay. Factor it in. I mean, any information, you get should just be researched and looked at. And, when you have a narrative they're ramming it down your throat, you have to ask yourself, And now when you're finding out the things that are out there, it's, like, hey, I lost, my parents within 15 months of one another. And I know that situation. And I speak personally. I've lost friends. I've lost, people who are just really sick, who just can't seem to get out of it. Like I see so much. So and I'm logical too, right? So I look at this and go, okay, well, something's up with that.
Yeah,
Something's up with
absolutely.
that. So what is it?
I mean, when you think about what they did to us, like I lost my husband from COVID and other stuff that I won't get
Oh,
into here, but
yeah, yeah.
nightmare. Now, what happened to the flu? I mean, if you remember, I think it was year 2 of COVID. Like you said, they were running the numbers, running them like a ticker at the bottom of a screen.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, they posted this graph that was like COVID, 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 all the way up. And then the flu was bottom line. Oh, the flu is gone. How could the flu have disappeared?
Well, it came back because they had a dual vaccine for both COVID and
Oh,
the flu.
right. Of course it came back.
That was number 4, yeah. So, I know. So, somewhere along the line, we as a society, I think, have become, some people don't trust, like, at all. And ironically, my mother was one. She was very political, like, she did her homework. She was one of these people that would work the elections and volunteer, her
Yeah,
time just, and she went from she was a very, very intelligent woman. In fact, she worked for the government of Canada. And
yeah,
she just basically rah, 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 right on it. She knew her stuff. And
yeah,
I'll tell you something, the last, year of her life, it was just like, "Ma, they know what they're doing." "Okay, wait, what? Who
yeah.
are you? What have you done?" "My mother." Because this is not something my mother would have said, but I think that the complacency behind everything became um, you know, it was just easier. It was just
Yeah,
easier than the barrage of information, So I don't know. I mean, well, that's something else. Yes,
yeah.
but they say, that if you went with, number 3, that you should be getting yourself tested for
Right.
HIV. That's something new as well. So things are coming out. It's like, "Wait, what?" Exactly. Well, that
Yep.
and now it's the bird flu. So why are all the wild birds not having it? Why is it just chickens?
They slaughtered millions and millions of chickens.
I know.
Right, how come the
Devastated
crows aren't
farmers.
dropping dead in the street and the
I know. So, I think we have to explore all things.
yeah,
And with that, when you're looking at something of this magnitude, not just looking at the global agenda, but think about everything that's going on behind the scenes, which obviously, I can't get into everything, but we've got Epstein, we've got Diddy. I'll leave it there,
yeah.
you know. And when you start factoring that in and getting close, then you got wildfires.
Oh, yeah.
But interesting with wildfires, California burned. Think about the areas that burned. And think about the fact that the insurance companies, and it was some of the celebrities came forward and said, our insurance policies were canceled 4 months
Yeah,
before.
that's
And it's
correct.
happening in Arizona right now. Right. So
I
that's
believe
right.
it, golly.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they did
2018.
it in Maui.
There we
They
go.
did it they're doing it wherever they want to install a 15-minute city. And
Hmm.
now they're coming out and saying, "Oh, this is the plans we have for the 15." I mean, it's they and it amazes me that a large portion of us are not waking up to this.
Hmm.
That this is the agenda. Like,
Hmm.
and a lot of people think that's a big conspiracy theory.
Hmm.
The lasers shooting, starting these fires, not hitting blue roofs because apparently blue is not affected by lasers. I mean,
Hmm.
that's a fact. That's a
Well,
scientific
there
fact.
were like many, recycle bin survivors all over the city, but nothing burned around certain houses. I mean, all
Yeah, and
all the trees and everything were all
yeah,
there. I don't know. I mean, I think. I think we are definitely in a tug of war with people who are we're caught in the middle of some pretty big power struggles right now, and we just do not know exactly how that's going to go. And I think we can factor in some of it. There are a lot of people out there, and I have to say, when I look at the X platform, I mean, I used to look at it as like, God, it's a dark place. People can't get along, blah, blah, blah. But I think since it became X, there's a lot of information that's being shared, not just on political levels. I mean, that's a whole other thing in itself, but even information on, like ancient history, out of place history,
Oh,
things that all of a sudden you're seeing cycles repeating themselves, and really great information is coming up that for the longest time has
yeah.
been subdued through censorship, which is another reason like I'm not a big Zuck fan. Well, I was told I had to censor. Really? Well, you're still doing it in a way. And
Oh,
you
and
don't have to do it anymore, but you're still doing it. So there's a lot of, you know, you just have to really take a good strong look at what's going on. But so aside from all of this now, where do you want to go to next? What rabbit hole do you want to go play in now, Carolann?
how about let's do some HARP and weather control.
Oh
Can
boy.
the government really manipulate weather? So
Yeah.
for folks that don't know, HARP, HAARP stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. That's a mouthful.
Hmm.
So it's a legit program. It's out there. You could go to their website. You could read their thesis statement. And in fact, they say that it's an experimental and investigative program
Hmm.
to characterize radio wave interactions in the ionosphere and see what their subsequent effects are on communication, radar, nav systems, weather, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
they do have, and if you don't mind, I'd love to show this video.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Um, of course, there's an ad playing right now, so let me just skip that. I'm going to share it. Okay, let me just get it. Because people, I would say whether I'm trying to share this, hold on. It really does exist. They can modify the weather. And people would be like, no, that's not true. That's conspiracy theory. No, they're making clouds. They're already doing it. And I would
They're
pull
cloud seeding is what they're doing. Yeah.
exactly. So here you see cloud making.
Don't worry if you can't hear what I'm saying. I couldn't even hear myself. This is the loudest sound you could possibly conceive. And as it turns out, the cleanest.
Wow.
Now, the most amazing thing is that that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapor. And in about an hour's time, someone in Mississippi is going to get wet washing. It will actually rain.
Hmm.
Is that
I
crazy or
told
what?
you.
That it goes to show you their concerns for climate change.
I mean, they're doing it already, folks.
I
Like,
know. They've been
think
doing it.
yeah,
Chemtrails.
exactly.
They've been doing it. That's the thing. And I mean, they have patents for all of this stuff.
Oh,
There's one, I'm just trying to find it. There was just a patent, and it was for tornadoes.
oh yeah.
And it's relatively new. And I found one when we had all these hurricanes ripping through the Gulf, um, that ended up in North Carolina and such. I went in and found a patent for that, and there were a couple. I think as they upgraded, the patents had to change with the technology. And I'll tell you something, man. It was something that I'm like this. It just felt man-made to me. I mean, those of us who can tune into the ethers, so to speak, and you listen to your gut, you just know. I said, this isn't natural. This is not natural at all. And it was one after the other, and bam, bam, bam. And all of a sudden it does an unnatural turn. It's just like, okay, hurricanes can do that. But this is happening. This is all happening.
Where there aren't normally, like North Carolina, that's not like a normal event for these folks. So you've got the theory, the conspiracy. I hate using that word, conspiracy theory.
But it was invented by the CIA in the 70s. They invented it.
That's correct.
Right.
To make us look like a bunch of buffoons.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But weaponized weather control is all a part of this.
Yeah.
So the big one, conspiracy theory is that HAARP can manipulate weather patterns to unleash hurricanes, tornadoes, as you said, droughts, and use it as a geopolitical weapon. So theorists, they claim that behind disasters like Katrina, right, or Superstorm Sandy, that was done either, and this is a conspiracy theory, to punish regions, which is weird, but I could see that, punish them politically, right? And I guess it would be like a lot of red states in the states that would happen to.
Right.
And to test their capabilities, which is another big one. They love doing that crap. Or, and this is a big one, I think, to destabilize economies. I think that would be brilliant of them, because it immediately would destabilize any state or economy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, it's a whole narrative. But here's one right here. Hurricane and tornado control device.
Oh,
there's your patent right there.
Oh, my Lord. Look at that thing. And that's a real patent.
That's a real patent. Oh, I'll show you a few patents. We could talk about some patents on frequency and weather. And so this is definitely, this one goes back as far as May the 8th, 2003. So if you're looking at this, it's like,
I think my granddaughter can do a better tornado drawing.
I know. So that's, there it is right there. There's the patent. You guys can go and find it, yourself. Now that's one of them. And here's another one. I'll put this up. Let me show you guys a few patents. Just it just goes to show you what they're now. I mean, some of this, it probably could be, here's one. Cure for cancer. December 9th, 2004.
I can't read the fine print. What does the abstract say, Michelle?
1 second. Let's bring it up.
Oh, there we go.
There we are. How's that? Provides application for salicylic acid in proportional concentration, depending upon the size of the cancer, onto or into a cancerous area of the body in order to reduce and remove it. Upon application, this salicylic acid will destroy all the extra cells in the body, fat from cancer, and rid the body of cancer. It's a cure for cancer. June 9th, 2003. And they applied for it, and the published date was December 9th, 2004. Oh, it gets better.
I wonder what happened to that. I mean, if acidic acid is a cure, where is it? Like, how come they're not like?
See, this is the thing: is that you have these things that just never seem to show up, right? But it's being used for somebody. I mean, there's a lot of natural ways I prefer to use, but there's, so here we go. Here's another one for you guys.
Well, wait, it says here, salicylic acid is a beta hydroxy acid, BHA. That's, you just said natural, right?
Yeah, it's an application.
That's right. Plants like willow bark and wintergreen.
Yep.
Oh.
So you have some of these are applications, and you have some that they're out there. I mean, we see the weather manipulation. We know it's all out there. There's tons for chemtrails. You guys you can go find it. They're not hiding it. But this is an interesting one too. Why is there a patent for subliminal acoustic manipulation of the nervous system? I don't know. I don't know. I guess you have to sort of ask yourself, why? Silent sound, subliminal mind control. And what's interesting about this is it goes a little bit with what's going on right here. 1 minute. Let me get this one up. The screen. Bring this guy up. Now, I was working with an individual who was having some, I guess, mind control things going on. She was very heavily watched. And then I found this. This goes back October 27th, 1992. So silent sound, subliminal mind control, steady tone near the high end of the hearing range.
Yeah.
Right. It's got hypnotists, right there. We see this. So there's different ways of doing it. But again, output can be done via air broadcast or piggybacked onto TV and radio signals.
I mean, they're already doing this. This
I
is
know.
a weapon that they used in Cuba on those diplomats that time.
Mhm.
And it's a fact that they're using these
Mhm.
frequencies to control us. I mean, it's weird. Did you ever get those thoughts in your head that don't belong there?
Oh,
And you're
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like, what was that all about?
I
Maybe
know.
now, maybe.
I know. And so I'll show you another one that
Yeah.
kind of that comes in, and it's newer than the one I just showed you. Okay, 1 second. Here we go. All right, U.S. patent up here for method and device for producing a desired brain state. And you see the TV under there, and the the pulse train generator, perimeter, A to D converter. There's a whole array of things here. I've got a lot of this stuff. I'm happy to send it, to people who really want to see it. But it's all stuff. I mean, I found it. You can find it. It's just, in fact, there's an entire list out there that have, and I have that somewhere. I just couldn't find it in time for this. It's a list of all U.S. patents for different things. So I have all that, right? Then we're getting into, let's go a little bit into new technology and not the U.S. government. So here we go. 1 minute here. Get rid of your AirPods, people, because these guys don't even have to go. They're at the top end of the frequency spectrum, which is like in the 400s, whereas most of them are under 100. These guys go to the absolute max they can get away with. So these are your AirPods.
Oh, I won't wear those suckers.
Yeah.
I won't wear earbuds. Nope.
No. See, this is something now this is out, and you can see the patent for it. They have the patent for it. It's all out there. So there's so much stuff out there that,
Yeah.
but then,
Michelle, I think that they're using frequency and vibration, which is what we have an innate ability to use on the daily, right?
Mhm.
And I think they're doing that and weaponizing every power that we have. So everything we're capable of doing, I think they're turning around and weaponizing it. I mean, even a thing like church bells, right? Did you ever wonder why you don't see church bells? Like, I remember as a kid growing up, I would hear church bells all over my neighborhood.
You know what? I did on our last open mic last week. I took out my my tuning forks, and I took out bells, and bells, they'll tell you they were removed for the war effort.
Yeah.
And I'll be showing pictures this week of entire caches of bells found that were buried, not used for the war effort.
Yes.
Because the frequency, aside from the fact it's supposed to make you feel better, there's a strong belief that they were made to put negative entities, whether it's a demon, sometimes they'll tell you reptilians, whatever the case may be, but negative frequencies, the type of frequency that they would produce would essentially, it would just, they would just disappear. Like they just didn't do well with it. But on the flip side of that, there's frequencies that can bring them in as well. So, non-native EMF will destroy see, there we go. Man-made, and that's exactly what it does, right? Ha ha. Get there safely, chickie. So, you're just looking at a lot of different things, but let's talk about some good patents that amazingly just sort of went to the wayside. Stan Meyer was the inventor of a car that ran purely on hydrogen extracted from water. When strong interest came to the Pentagon and the $5 trillion a year big oil industry in 1997, Meyer is alleged to have refused $1 billion offer for his patents. And what they don't, well, here, I don't think I can even bring it up. But what the rest of it says was Stan Meyer was poisoned to death the next year.
Isn't that terrible?
It happens all the time. If you don't sell out,
Right.
that's the end of that. And here's another with someone that we just know and love, which is a Tesla thing. And I got a whole list of Tesla stuff as well.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but you can go on and on, right? So these guys look familiar. 1928 UFO patent, anti-gravity aircraft. It's this patent. So I don't know. We can go on and on and on. Things have been modified, things have been stolen, things have been created to to pretty much, I believe, control things. They have devices out there that can stop your heart. That was a long time ago. I
Oh, yeah.
remember a story where there was I guess a politician on the stage talking, and some guy in a dark suit came in, sat down,
Mm.
and all of a sudden, you know, Buddy on the stage starts holding onto his heart. He has a heart attack. All of a sudden, you see Buddy sitting down, had something in his hand, and then he just got up, smiled, and walked away.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, direct energy weapons on different levels, definitely something that exists,
Absolutely.
and they have for a really long time. So, I think we get into a lot of different. There's a lot of different things going on, and I think the next one we should tackle maybe is CERN, because
Yes.
CERN is the gift that keeps on giving with information.
This is true. This is true.
Take it away, girl.
Oh, my goodness. I'm looking for that video link because this is a big part of the conspiracy.
Yeah.
What did I do with that link? Well, here it is. Okay. Let me see. Now, whether or not, wait, there's an ad. I'm going to wait for that. Don't you just love it when there's ads?
No, I don't actually. I get
No,
rid
it's
of
so
that stuff
annoying.
altogether. Yeah, it's like no patience over here.
Let me see if I can click this.
Ooh.
This is Rev Michelle Mann.
Okay, so this is so interesting because this is part of the conspiracy theory. Now, was this fake or real? So let's watch. And you're hearing the guy recording it in the background, panicking and flipping out.
Hmm. Hmm.
A trigger warning coming up, folks.
Wow.
Fuck. Shit. Fuck.
I think you guys get the message.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's real to me.
It looks real. It's not the first time I've heard of that theory. Well, obviously it happened. Are they affiliated with the group? I can't see anybody getting that close to that location, just because, hey, let's just, we're just going to get on there and do something funky. Definitely nobody's getting that close to this location. This CERN tends to be one of these places that, let's face it, CERN, well, let me back up for 1 minute. 34 satanic sites in the world. Okay. And we've got CERN, I believe, which is number 5.
Oh, jeez.
It's listed at number 5. We have, I just wonder if I can, hold on. I think I can share this. 1 second. I don't know why, for some reason, Notre Dame Cathedral was also on that list. And I know why. I know the whole backstory on it, but here we go. Okay. So I'm going to have to, there it is. So there's 1 to 32. Number 33 is White House number 2. We got White House number 1, but apparently there's a White House number 2 and Windsor Tower. So you can look on here. I'll read them out quick for those who are just listening. The Ark of Baal, the Augusta, Germany Castle, Biltmore Hotel, Coral Gables, wow, Miami, Buckingham Palace, CERN in Switzerland, the CIA's Bohemian Grove, Comet Pizza. All right, we're going to leave that there. Denver, Epstein Island, Georgia Guidestones, which are gone, Hoover Dam, the Louvre in France. I've been to some of these places. Not as a participant, just saying. London Bank 1 and 2, London Bridge Lake, Havasu City, Arizona, the Northern Castle, again, Notre Dame, Opera House in Sydney, Pentagon, Playboy Mansion, Statue of Liberty, Stonehenge, Tesla Building, Getty Museum, Queen's Hunting Lodge, Vatican, big shocker, the Three Gorges Dam, U.S. Capitol, Victoria's Secret's home, Washington Monument. Why is it about these places that are, like we're seeing all of this? But ironically, I wanted to share it because they're CERN, number 5.
Yeah.
Right? So
I don't know. Something sketchy going on over there.
Well, there's definitely something going on over there. But when we're getting into some of the information that has surfaced over CERN, okay, they believe that it is, well, I'll leave it with David Icke, love him or don't, I do. CERN's is a part of a worldwide web connected to the creation of the human hive mind, which also evolves 5G towers and Musk's low orbit satellite network growing by the week. So it's believed, because a scientist did come forward, a Swiss scientist claimed that CERN has been working on a secret nuclear program and that there is a portal underneath CERN from where beings are coming in and out of. Physicists who work there told her that there were 17 different dimensions of reality that they, I guess, have been able to manipulate this. So she reveals that they captured a mysterious entity inside the particle collider. Deep inside CERN's underground labs, the super proton synchrotron has found something incredible. This undercover 4-dimensional force masses with the paths of zooming particles. Hidden in the depth of the phase space, this unknown force called the 4D ghost, is what they've called it, throws the delicate dance of particles into chaos. Now, scientists at CERN in Switzerland discovered, and at the Goethe University in Germany, discovered a mysterious ghost that influences how particles move in the superproton, they call it the SPS, synchrotron. This is a 3D shape that changes over time. It's best understood in 4D. So it just manipulates how we do things. But here's where it gets interesting. It is believed to be creating rifts and time splits and portals. Some believe that the Illuminati, wait for it, are celebrating the opening of the 5th dimension, one beyond space and time. CERN also invented the internet and a matrix system that now covers the Earth. It's interesting, and we should take notice that the Swiss lab in New York, get this, and the Brookhaven lab, in New York, both sit on ley lines. Both of these labs have a, hadron collider that directly impact these ley lines negatively, or they can do it positively. So the CERN lab is the father of the internet. And if you look at the collider there at CERN, you will notice it strongly resembles a web. So you're just getting into a lot of stuff. But it says here, and you'll find this interesting, I think, Carolann, because you've spoken about the Mandela effect as well, that there are theories that CERN is responsible for timeline switching phenomenon known as the Mandela effect. But they say it's not correct. The Galactic Federation altered our timeline to keep us on track for ascension. This apparently is a good thing, if this is a thing. But now many people have memories of a history that no longer corresponds to our current timeline. So the message explains that CERN is opening portals to allow negative demonic entities from other dimensions to enter Earth's astral plane. This is spiritual warfare, and this is what's been surfacing. Blah, blah, blah. I had to just copy and paste that to read it. So there's that and a lot more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, their initial plan was to discover the Higgs boson, which is they called it the God particle. And that kind of says a lot in and of itself.
Yep.
I guess their whole premise was they wanted to reproduce the Big Bang, or at least learn its origins of the beginning of the universe. So while that might sound all fine and dandy, I personally think that there's a lot more. If you look at some of they have these celebratory events, and they're so demonic. They're huge productions, huge, like multi-million-dollar productions. And all of their events, these celebratory events, are so demonic. And the fact that people just, like, where's the awareness? How come, like, we aren't screaming at the top of our lungs? I mean, if you see the one for the pandemic that they had, it will blow your mind. I recommend folks go look at
all the syringes and the gowns of the hospital beds. And I know, but what is something like that doing at a celebration like that?
Exactly. So that sketched me out big time. Some of the conspiracy theories that are out there are they creating black holes, like you mentioned? Are they opening portals to other dimensions and allowing these dark demonic entities to enter into our world? Now, of course, there's a lot of response to that. They've responded to a lot of this. And they said that while the idea of CERN opening portals to other dimensions is intriguing, it remains firmly in the realm of science fiction.
Of course, I'll tell you that. And I suppose that ritual we just saw science fiction as well.
Exactly.
So, I mean, maybe, but I think the problem is with conspiracies. I mean, the term was invented to make those of us who caught on to things, and I say us as in, society, there's a lot of people out there who are like, yeah, I don't think so. And it's just to add that element of you're a little bit cuckoo. It's not a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But there are things happening all the time. Unfortunately, it's everywhere. You can't get away from it all. You can't.
And there are no coincidences. We know that.
We do.
There are no coincidences in life. So, whether or not their true aim is to advance our understanding, like, of the universe, of course, they're saying that there's no credible evidence to any of this, but
of course. But whenever they tell you that, it's conspiracy, it means dig deeper, because there's something else that they're trying there's something else that they're trying to sway you from. And I think that I always give the example of when the whole Epstein thing surfaced and Ghislaine Maxwell was they were in court, like, okay, there's this whole process going on with that. But at the exact same time, there was a Johnny Depp and Amber
Yes.
trial. And meanwhile, people found it extremely fascinating to be watching that Amber Heard crapped on Johnny Depp's pillow, to the point where it's like, wait a minute, who cares? Can we just please go back to the more important thing? Because there were big names. Yeah. Now we're looking at everything being released, and all of a sudden it's just like a lot of these distractions. Can we talk about all the planes falling out of the sky? I'm sorry. Can we just talk about that for a minute?
Did you see the recent one where two almost collided? A big jumbo jet almost collided with a smaller jet.
No,
I'm
no.
watching the video this. I think it was today.
Okay. So why? Okay, I'm sure this happens in the world, and we do hear about it on the news when it does. But I mean, this is happening like every week, sometimes 2, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
You know, like I know, like
Something ain't
I
right.
know exactly. I agree. So, what is up with that? Like, come on. Like, these are big distraction, but people are losing lives. So, are they just coming up with different ways of thinning out the herd, or is it AI generated, or how does this happen? They want to deter people from traveling, perhaps. I could see that. You know,
That
I'm
could be
down. I'm all right in my little hobble. I don't need to be on a plane.
I mean, even the train crashes. There were so many. Remember, there was like a cluster of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
It's never ending.
Yeah.
It's never ending.
I mean, it's only February, and I feel like we lived a whole year already.
You know what? It's like there wasn't even a breather coming into 2025. Stuff was happening almost immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, there's a rabbit hole, Heidi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is a rabbit hole.
So, there's so much information out there. Is that the Malaysia airline one, Heidi? Yeah. Well, the conspiracy states that there were scientists on board who had technology for a cloaking device that Jacob Rothschild, was also part of. Did they cloak and disappear? Or did they disappear because now Jacob Rothschild, who's now deceased, by the way, was the only one who had rights to it? You know. Yeah. Right? Because for a long time, people were phoning their families and the phones were ringing. So, until they just died off, I guess, the batteries. But it's just like they're underwater. I don't think they would have done that. I think it would have cut right out to a voice message or something. But there's a lot of stuff there. Do you want to do Denver, or do you want to talk about the missing 411? Where do you want to go? We have half an hour.
Let's do Denver. That's kind of intriguing.
Well, it was on the list too, so it's a good segue.
Yep, the Denver airport conspiracy, strange murals, underground bunkers, Illuminati symbolism. So let's dive into that one. Yep. And it's so weird because I've never been there, but I've seen enough video and read a lot about it. And it's kind of like there's a lot of freaky stuff going on there. So we've got underground.
Well, Heidi lives in Denver.
So. Oh, is that right?
Yeah. No, exactly.
Well, I'm sure she's been there.
Yeah.
Supposedly there are underground bunkers that are designed for the elite. And the claim is that beneath the airport lies a vast network of secret tunnels and bunkers. I've seen some of that video too, that they kind of smuggled out of there. So who knows? And it's supposed to span for miles. And it's supposed to be a shelter for global elites and the New World Order in case of an apocalyptic event. Some people suggest that there are military bases like NORAD or for Cheyenne City Mountain Complex. Okay. And then we've got another claim that it's the actual headquarters for the New World Order, that it was built by the New World Order, and that a secret group of people plotted to host a global dictatorship there, I guess. The airport's dedication stone inscribed has New World Airport Commission. That's kind of sketchy.
That's a big one. Yeah.
That's a big one. There's another claim that the airport is the hub for the Illuminati of Freemasons, evidenced by Masonic symbolism. There's dedication stones. There's also a time capsule event that they had, and it's supposed to be well, I guess when they originally buried it, and it's supposed to reopen in 1994, which is kind of sketch. The other one is that there's a swastika-shaped runway, which I've seen pictures of that it resembles a swastika, the runway.
Yeah, so not the good way.
Yeah, not a good one. And then this blew my mind because I've seen many pictures of them, the apocalyptic murals. So people need to go check them out. There's a whole bunch of those. There's also a statue which is supposed to be a cursed demon horse, Michelle, and it's called Lucifer, which is so weird.
That's like, different.
Is it Lucifer or something like that?
I've not heard about that one, but now that you mention it, I think I've seen it in a documentary when they did on. Yes.
Blue Mustang statue with glowing red eyes.
Just had a birthday.
It's crazy. And it's possibly cursed or demonic. And it's linked to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which makes a lot of sense. And then it goes on. There are like 4 or 5 more. There's evidence for flat earth, alien, lizard people. It's supposed to be a biological warfare hub. The list goes on. It's a huge one.
Well, it's all stuff that seems to be unfolding slowly. I truly believe that things are hidden in plain sight, in films and so on. Denver is creepy as all the horse is scary, had the red eyes. Yes. And the lizard lounge and the lizard's lair. Yeah. I mean, it's all there. Wayne, seeing photos of how much dirt was taken out of that area during construction, was far more soil than required to be removed based on documents and blueprints. There we go. So, and it's on the satanic list. So you got that whole Illuminati connection right there as well. I think that, again, these are rabbit holes that just keep going and going and going, and trying to make sense of it. You can't make sense of it. You just I think it comes down to awareness, like being aware and do your own homework on it. Don't take my word or Carolann's word or anybody's word. If like when I research something, honestly, I cross-reference the heck out of it because I want to see just how many places it turns up and what kind of formats it turns up, and you just keep cross-referencing. If you're left with a question mark, then there's either something more to it that we're not made privy to, or that it's just. But to go through that kind of, shall we say, creativity and money, that there's something to it. You have to look at the obvious and, sort of go from there, right?
Yeah. It's so interesting because there's such a large group of people that suffer from such an embedded cognitive dissonance, and they just will not consider any of the things that we're talking about. I'm not saying, like you just said, to believe these things, but open your eyes, open your eyes
and your mind,
Exactly. Try to conceptualize that some of this stuff has validity to it. Like, be awake, especially after what we just suffered through the pandemic, especially after that. People, and I think more and more people are awakening, Michelle, and we've talked about that before. I think there is a global awakening, and it's wonderful, and we're blessed to be able to identify and connect. It's like a way of connecting to your kindred folk. You know what I mean?
You have a lot of people on your side. I read this article recently, and I thought it was fairly interesting. And it wasn't so much an article as it was a post. It was a really lengthy post. And I guess, according to the author of the post, it was something along the lines of, why are things surfacing where people are like, why did we not get warned about, and why did the unjabbed not say something? Well, A lot of the unjabbed did, and they ended up with like suspended
Oh,
accounts, and they ended up being shunned by family and neighbors. And oh my gosh, it reminds me of a friend of ours who's out on the East Coast, and he was told because he wasn't that you can't come in this establishment. And now that everything's tickety boo, he goes, "Oh no, I don't see you in this establishment because you never will." Like I'm not going to forget that. What are you nuts? Like, I had to drive 30 minutes outside the city now just to buy groceries. Like, whatever. What is wrong with you? Like, it's like it just never happened. I think it got to a point where people just like, it's like you're being, shunned and ridiculed and badgered and, all these people should be on a deserted island to fend for themselves, put them all in jail, take away privileges. Well, I'm sorry, how is that working out for everybody right now? And I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I saw a lot of people that I've come even through social media. People, you get talking to people, and you form connections with people, and you just see some really hard times on both sides. But I've had people like say things on social media to other people. I'm just like, you should be ashamed of yourself for saying that. And I bet you now they probably do feel ashamed because some of these same people ended up with illnesses that they can't shake. So it's just like, man, we were all in this together, and some of us just didn't buy the narrative and some of us did. It's the way it is, But with
I couldn't
that
agree
being,
more.
yeah, that you question that, everything that everyone went through, just question everything. That's all I'm saying. Question everything and just, try to stand together. Don't let
Yeah.
anybody cause division because it's that the society as on a global level really got divided.
Oh my word. And also listen to your inner voice. Like a lot of people don't do that really. And
Mhm,
I have to thank God, that my spirit guides, whoever it was. But I remember as clear as if it happened yesterday
mm,
when COVID just hit.
mhm,
It's not even a month old, I think.
mhm,
And I was standing in my kitchen right by my refrigerator, and I just heard in my intuitive brain what was going to unfold.
mhm,
And I knew that they were going to force us to do the things that they did.
mhm,
Go into details, but you get my point.
mhm,
And I got like it happened in seconds, but I got a download of what was to come. And I started crying, like
mhm,
just tears running down my face. My husband, God rest his soul, came running over. He's like, "Why are you crying?" And I told him what I just saw.
mhm.
And he was just hugging me, going, "Don't worry, it's all going to be okay." I mean, what was he going to say? He probably thought I lost my mind.
Yeah.
And I equate that to I listened to what I was being told, and I
Mhm,
just knew that something nefarious was about to take place. So listen to the point of the story.
mhm,
We all have these inner voices, and a lot of us suppress them.
mhm,
We all have our spirit guides and our loved ones watching us,
mhm.
guiding us. And I think we just need to tap into that more. What's your thoughts on that, Michelle?
Well, I can tell you I'm a big, believer in it. Obviously, I've worked within this field for the last 2 decades, and I've got many gifted friends, and I was working with this one individual who became a very dear friend. She, came to me needing assistance and stayed. We just kept in touch, and very gifted, and especially with premonitions, and she called it within a year, and, she would just say to me, "Write things down because I'll forget." I don't obviously because she just slips out and bam, 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 bam. And boy, when it happened, I went back to those notes. This is what she was talking about. It was just like all there. I was like, wow,
Wow.
and it all, I had to remind her of it. And it
Wow.
was just like she goes, "Oh my gosh." I'm just like, "Wow." So I definitely and I've had my own experiences with being told by those from the ether to what to do, what not to do. And I think it's very, very important to, um, very important just to listen. There are so many that came before you who work with you and who go on to protect you and who try to guide you. That's why we have guides. That's why we have family members. That's why we have ancestors. And
Yeah.
sometimes there are others who come forward because there's some kind of connection, maybe past life,
Yeah.
maybe from your ET family, like, because a lot of experiencers have ET families, and they straight up will say, "Do this, don't do this," and I completely believe that it happens every day, and people just fail to see or understand the signs that are being shown or given to them.
Oh
Life
God.
gets busy. Life it gets busy. We're purposely kept busy, right? We're purposely kept busy, you know.
Distract. Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at that, it's no wonder, right?
Yeah.
So, 15 minutes to go. Where do you wanna go next?
Oh. Oh. Boy, time flies, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Goodness. How about let's do David Pauly's missing 411 cases. That's kind of creepy.
That one, yeah. It is. And the fact that it happens so much
Yeah.
is mind-blowing. So, where do you wanna start with it?
Well, in case folks don't know, am I saying his name right? Paulides? Is that
Yeah.
right, Michelle?
Yeah, I think so,
Yeah,
yeah.
David Paulides. He's
David
got
Paulides.
a show, a series called Missing 411.
Excellent.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Mind blowing.
Mhm.
And the series explores mysterious disappearances in national parks and remote wilderness areas. While he avoids directly stating theories, many researchers and readers have speculated on possible explanations ranging from logical to paranormal and even conspiratorial. So, I'm just going to run off some of the bullet points on the common theories. So, the natural explanations of these missing people
Mhm.
would be accidents or exposure, animal attacks, drowning, foul play. And then on
Mm.
the flip side, on the conspiratorial side, you've got Bigfoot or cryptids, aliens or UFOs, interdimensional portals, government experiments or secret facilities,
Mhm.
or supernatural forces or spirits. And then they're also saying that the military and the government are covering these things up,
Mhm.
that indeed, and this is government related, we have cave systems and underground entities live there.
Mhm.
And there are these dwellers down there that are possibly abducting these people.
Mhm.
And the other grim side of this is human trafficking.
Yes. Yes. That's a that's a really big rabbit hole, because it's easy to happen when you're looking at some of these, um, state parks. They're massive.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
massive, and people go missing them naturally all the time. So if you're trying to put this unnatural spin on it, it most certainly can happen. As far as cryptids go, man, I truly believe many of them are dimensional beings. They're not all, they're not all there all the time. They're, like, I mean, Bigfoot's that's a really hot topic. A lot of people have their views. Primatologists will say, no, these guys were here long ago. And, let's face it, the forests are so dense.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know. There could be cave systems. We know there's cave systems everywhere. Not hard to get in there, not hard to exist. They just never seem to find very much. But,
Right.
there's some really good people out there doing really diligent work, and they're doing their best and coming up with, foot casts and hair, and it's great. But you have other cryptids too. You start getting into dogmen, and they're very aggressive. Look at Land Between the Lakes. That's a really freaking big one, because you've got apparently aggressive Bigfoot and really aggressive dogmen. And
Right.
people are dying, and the government just pushed them all aside, took them out, said, you can't live here anymore, and turned it into a national park area. and stuff's still going on. And military, by the way, have been seen by witnesses. One witness saw a dog man being taken away in a really large military truck.
Wow.
So I don't know. when you factor that in.
You know what's weird? I heard him talking about in one of his episodes that several of the cases of these missing folk had taken off their clothes, folded them, put them down on the ground right by the lake, and just disappeared. Now, who does that before they walk off the planet?
Mind control.
Right. Something weird.
That's different.
I mean, folding their clothes before they decided to leave the planet.
And then there's other situations where you're finding one shoe with a foot in it.
Yeah. What is up with that?
I don't know. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. You know, there's so many stories that are interesting. One that specifically sticks out was of a child. And I think it was like 2 or 3 that was found with, I think, with a Bigfoot. He explained, must have been a little bit older, maybe 3 or 4, explained that he had been with and described a Bigfoot, and it took care of him. Like, it took care of him, and it made sure it got back to where he or she knew that they were looking for this child.
I don't doubt that.
I know. So, I mean, you know, there's got to be. I always look at sinister as being more along the lines of mankind. Sad but true. And it's sad, you know, that you don't have that kind of faith in them. But when it comes to people just going missing, and there's natural ways. My God, you could fall off the side of a cliff. You could just fall in a crevasse. Anything, you know, and to get lost in a cave system. But when you're getting reports from people who are like one, you know, group of people who are together and they're within like 5 feet of one another, and they turn around, that person's just gone and there's no trace of them. Portals?
That's so weird.
Portals. You know, I mean, I think there are portals and vortices all over the place that people just
disappear. Yeah.
They're not hard to create. They're energy doorways, you know. I mean, aside from the stargates or these energy spots throughout the world, you know, Sedona being one of them. There's a lot of places like that have them, and a lot of these are under guard and very well protected, or they have, you know, ironically, buildings on top of them now. Like, they all know where these places are. This is knowledge that goes back to the ancient mystery schools and so on. There's esoteric stuff. Like, they're well aware of where many of these places are. But there are also places which, I mean, they teach courses on how to open portals. I mean, sometimes you could do it just from having a bad hormone day. Just, you know. So, I mean, it's not really that hard, apparently. So if that's the case, I mean, you could just be walking and, you know, you've got this person who's just walking enough to the left, for example, that they miss it, but the other person right into it. I mean,
It could be. I mean, they have missing time. There was, I think, a woman disappeared for 3 days. She had no clue where she was or what happened to her.
Wow.
So account for that.
I know.
So weird.
I know. Weird. But, you know, we live on this incredible planet.
Right.
You know, whether it's round, whether it's flat, that's a whole other show. We're still in this plane of existence, and there are some really amazing things that go along with that. You know, it really is wonderful. There's a beautiful frequency that comes along with that, and if you can tune in to that frequency, I think you could exist, you know, fairly happily and have a better understanding of how things go. Unfortunately, mankind, you know, we as people don't play nice in the sandbox, you know, with everybody. And I just think that we tend to be we're very lost We're very lost. Those who came before us, our ancestors, and we're not the first kick of the can on the planet.
Right.
There's other beings that live here. There's been other populations of groups of people who have been here who are long gone. I mean, we're finding traces of that with out of place artifacts and monuments and structures and petroglyphs, hieroglyphs, all of that. We see it. We see it happening. But when you factor all of that in, like we like to look at ourselves as this really advanced race of beings. We're not. Our ancestors who were more primitive,
Right.
had more going on. And there were other groups who were just so much more elevated and educated. And, we just tend to come along at this time and space and think that we've got it together. But we're still at a stage where we're just trying to control one
Yeah.
another. We can't even have it at a point where we are coexisting nicely, wanting to see. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of us want what's best for all of us. I want to see. I do planetary energy work all the time. I want to see all of us get out of here the way we're supposed to. I'd love to see everybody have comfortable lives and coexist. I believe the planet is big enough for everyone to be able to, if you can be in the cities and everything's clumped together, of course you can run out of space, but there's enough room for people to go out there and live off the land. And those are the things that we should be taught. Technology has a way of destroying things. And Stephen Hawking said it with AI. A lot of people said it with AI. ET has said it with AI. And here we are, AI. And let's see where that goes.
Gosh, that was a great way to kind of wrap up what we were talking about today, Michelle. So well said.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We just have to be aware. That's what it comes down to. Awareness. Be aware. Don't dismiss it so easily because it seems like it's so far out there. And when you see something major going on, then just try and look at what's going on behind the scenes. Dig a little bit. Yeah. It's going to he's starting a GoFundMe fund. Oh, wow. Fantastic. That's awesome. I'll have to check that out. Find some info on that. That's great. But this was a lot of fun, Carolann, as I knew it would be. And, I think we may have to do a part 2, though. I do.
I would love to. There's
Yeah,
a lot.
we have things on the list, so we could either do it on here or could do it on your show. We just decide where we want to take it and keep going.
I love it. Thank you so much, Michelle. It was great fun. Thank you. God bless.
It's a pleasure, Carolann. It's a pleasure. As
You know
always, right back at you. And to everybody else who joined us this afternoon or this evening, depending on which side of the world you're on, such as Mark Champion, because he's been here like on the night shows too. Thank you for tuning in. You guys make it that much more fun for us. It's a lot of fun having that interaction, and I'm always praising you guys. But tomorrow night, Wayne Mallows is going to be guest hosting with me again for another open mic. We're going to pick up where we left off because, darn it, there's just so much information. It's unbelievable where we can, not uncensored. So, just saying. So you won't be finding that there. So tune in for that. And I will be doing a part 2 with Tim Sudano and Paranormal Insight on Thursday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, the Outer Realm, the other show on Thursday night at the 9 p.m. Eastern. And I am going to have the pleasure of hanging out with 2 dear friends and colleagues of mine who I've known and have been a part of my team for years and years and years and years, decades. But also we spent, close to 3 weeks in Romania, and we're going to talk about, I've done this on many interviews and I get asked about it a lot. And the girls have filmed with me on 2 different shows where we have had to break it up because what started off in Romania and was one heck of an experience in the Hoia Baciu forest followed back. And there was a lot of things that just kept going on. right? So that night is going to be completely devoted to some of the small things that happened in Romania, but primarily with the experiences in Hoia Baciu Forest. So it's definitely a tale worth telling. And I think the girls they like to do like the show and tell. I mean, for me to go digging through pictures, be like, so, but they're very more organized than I am. So they'll probably show some pictures. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And again, thank you all for joining us today. Big thank you to United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 107.7 FM and 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast. So thank you, and we shall see you guys tomorrow night.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Bye.